Okay, so we're looking at June 2018, paper 1, iGCSE Edexcel 1 to 9. It's question 2 of our series. It relates to 4B, energy transfer, and 1C, force and motion, Hooke's law. So let's kind of see what it's all about. So we've got a formula sheet there. That's the typical formulas you get for this section. I'm not going to go into that a lot. You've obviously got a range of things you could use. So it's question 2. Photograph shows this child bouncing on a trampoline. The box lists in types of energy. We've got chemical, elastic, gravitational, kinetic and thermal energy stores. So the passage describes the process of bouncing on a trampoline. Use a word from the box to complete the passage. Each word may be used once, more than once or not at all. Typical style, so 4 marks. As the child falls, here's something. I'm going to put in gravitation energy is mostly transferred to kinetic energy. And when the child hits the trampoline, here's kinetic energy is transferred to elastic, or you could pick thermal. So very simple energy changes type question. Next one then. Now, trampolines have springs that stretch and compress. The student investigates the spring to see if it obeys Hooke's law. She measures the extension of a spring for a range of different stretching forces. Now we've got to describe how the student could measure the extension of the spring. So you have a little think to yourself. You can pause the video now, and then I'll go through some answers. So here we go. So for 3 marks. Marking point 1. You could measure an initial length, e.g. original length of spring, distance from bottom of spring to bench. Measure an extended length for marking point 2. Marking point 3, extension is the difference between the extended length and initial length. That's quite a useful one to always think about with springs and Hooke's law. Marking point 4, use of a ruler, allow use of a caliper. So a caliper is something that would measure a distance. And marking point 5, although clearly there's only 3 points here, so you only need 3 of these to improve the quality of the measurements taken. Okay. Now, part 2 then. The student finds, the student finds that the spring does obey Hooke's law. Sketch a graph of the results on the axes. So we've got extension and we've got force. Okay. So let's see what we've got here then. So it's just 2 marks. Again, you can pause. So we've got a straight line, and I've got another line. Now, what I said is, for 1 mark, it's a straight line of positive gradient throughout. Okay. If we also think, though, we could have a curved line, but we should reject the curve at the end of the line unless straight section clearly identified as Hooke's law region. So you can have the 2 options, but clearly that first section is the part we need, and the line should pass through the origin. That would be the second mark. Okay, so that would be the Hooke's law region, and this would be what we would call a plastic flow region, effectively here. So all this area up here, my arrow is slightly off. So that is question 2, part 2, 9 marks. Very simple.